On Daf 74 of Eruvin, we get the story of these two rabbis, and one of them hears a teaching said in the name of the other. And he's like, what? No, he couldn't have said that. I don't believe it. So he goes to the other rabbi's house and he knocks on the door and he says, did you really say this? And the rabbi's like, yeah, I did. And the first rabbi's like, but you're totally wrong for this reason. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the debate because it is so detailed that it's going to lose more people than it's going to gain. But the point being that he raised all these objections, and the first rabbi, the guys whose house he was at, the guy who had actually taught that thing, responded with silence. He heard the other person's objections to his teaching, and he didn't respond. And the Gemara is wondering, well, what do we do with that? Did his silence mean he thought about it, he's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and he changed his mind? Or did the silence mean he was totally unmoved by what he heard? How do we deal with silence? Now, what's so fascinating about this discussion is that we actually have principles of dealing with silence elsewhere. We say that, if somebody's asked a question and they're silent, that it tends to be a yes. We look at silence as being a yes, generally. We also look at silence as being acceptance. In the famous story of Kochba, Kamsa Bar Kamsa, that was the name. Kamsa Bar Kamsa, we see this one person humiliated another in front of all of these different rabbis, and none of the rabbis did anything to intercede. And so their silence was considered to be that, they must have agreed with the way that this guy had treated this other one, and therefore it was considered to be an admonition against the entire people because the rabbis had witnessed and they didn't intercede. Their silence was again considered to be assent. But this is a somewhat different situation. This is a place where someone had taught something and someone else speaks up to raise an objection to give a proof against it, and their silence, not quite the same as being asked a question or standing by and allowing behavior to go on without doing anything. It's, the guy has a position, and really nothing that's been raised should force him to change the position necessarily. We see no evidence of him being forced to change the position. Therefore, can we look at the silence as being that, or can we not? And it's a very interesting idea. It's like, what do you mean when you are silent? When you are silent, is that a form of agreement? Or is that a form of saying, sorry, but nothing you said moved me. I'm not shifting my position at all.